We are pleased to share our presentation on the status of Germany 30 years after unification, which was held at the conference in Berlin last Friday on the 27th of September 2019. So Germany is celebrating 30 years of unification, and we would like to ask, where is Germany coming from and where are we going? If you look at the media and the news today in Germany, you see a lot about climate change, and Greta Thunberg and her sailboat literally is all over the place in the media. And this is a wake-up call for many in Germany, and we would like to put a 360 perspective on it, whether or not this is the right thing to do, and whether Germany is realizing this wake-up call and the global change which is happening in technology, in artificial intelligence, in big data. And Germany for sure is a frontrunner when it comes to climate change policies, but it is not enough, and it is not the only topic which is of concern. So our Chancellor, Angela Merkel, she is in power for the last 14 years, and she is ending her political career as a Chancellor 2021, and she still has a lot of things to do on her desk. And we all remember her important role in managing the European crisis with Greece and Italy and the euro. And when we ask where is Germany now and tomorrow, we have to understand where we are coming from. So especially the fact that we are celebrating 30 years of unification, we always have to look at the historical context, and especially the situation of Berlin as a capital. Some remember from the history books the famous visit of President John F. Kennedy when the Berlin Wall was built, that the United States of America were strongly defending the freedom of West Berlin. And it took a few months of continuous 24/7 supplies by aircrafts. And the famous quotation from Kennedy, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner, is printed all over the place in the history books. The second president who had a major impact on the situation of Berlin and Germany was Ronald Reagan, when he came to Berlin in 1987 and says to Mr. Gorbachev, "Tear down this wall." And so the Germans did, not Mr. Gorbachev, only indirectly. And we celebrated on the 3rd of October, or actually it was the 9th of November in 1989, the breakdown of the wall by the more or less East German people. They just took it, and there was no tomorrow, so to say, and everybody who has some kind of memory about that particular day, he still gets goosebumps by looking at such pictures here. So this is a historical context. And Germany today is a more or less happy country, but also a pretty saturated country, I'd like to say. I'm traveling all over the world, and I see that Germany is still admired. Made in Germany is still a very, very strong brand. But if you look at the companies, their rankings, their technological endeavors, their research and development activities, we see that Germany is falling down a little bit in the competitive world. Politically, Germany is still a powerhouse in Europe, the largest economy, the strongest supporter of managing Europe and the European Union as an anchor of, say, political common sense, of democracy, of human rights. And I personally feel that this is going to stay the case, even though we do have challenges here in some local elections, but generally speaking, I'm not worried about Germany as a stable democracy within the European Union. Our friends from the island, from Great Britain, are facing the Brexit issue, and I was working in England and UK in London when Margaret Thatcher was still Prime Minister, and the famous quote from Margaret Thatcher was, "I want my money back." And that, for me, still is the so-called DNA of the love-hate relationship between Great Britain and the European Union. So in the stock market, it's all priced in. We will see a lot of change in the supply chains between the United Kingdom and mainland Europe. But I believe most of the companies are well prepared and things will move on. Whether we're gonna get a deal or no deal or a new referendum or new election, we will have to wait and see how our friends are managing the situation. It will not disrupt Europe too much. I believe it's all priced in a way, and in Germany we have a saying that people who want to leave, you shouldn't stop them. So the British people remain our friends and partners, even though they may not be a formal member later in the EU anymore. So the Brexit, the stability of the euro, the currency, and especially the development of foreign trade and investments will shape Europe's future. We will monitor closely the trade conflict between US and China. It has a huge impact on Germany and its economy, but we have a largely healthy economy, even though we get a little bit of a reduction in our GDP growth, which I believe is more or less a cyclical cycle and not something to really worry about. All the customers and the manufacturing companies we talk to, their main problem still is to get qualified people and not to find more revenue. So we are more or less in a reasonably good and solid situation. However, when it comes to technology and future innovations and the disruptive environment of certain sectors, Germany has to fasten its seatbelt. That is my belief. And the success of Germany was built on steel, machinery, and engineering competence in the last century. And many companies are still world class in that. We have a lot of hidden champions. But if you look at the new technologies which are managing and shaping the world of the future, whether it's artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, there's a long way to go for Germany, even though there are some elements which are still first class. A university have international recognition, research labs, institutes. They are well respected. They have a lot of high caliber people, but they get drawn to the States, to Singapore, to Hong Kong, other places where they have even better environment, and it's a competition for the best brains and the most innovative and most smart people in the world. So I believe Germany has a little bit of a saturation attitude here, and I think that has to go away drastically and fast. Now, that is telling me that innovations made in Germany in the traditional old brick and mortar industries, they're gonna remain. All these beautiful things of technological issues, they still have to be manufactured somewhere, but true and real innovations must come in the areas of climate, of energy, of mobility, and so on. And this is where we need the next game changers. And I hope to see some of them coming from Germany and not only from the United States or China or any other country. So the old boys, so to say, Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, and so on, they have to ask themselves, where's our next innovation driver? It's certainly not gonna be a diesel car on 4 wheels driven by human beings. So a big question mark here. Internet of Things, big data, integrated global supply chain management, stuff like that. That is what we want to see and what we want to promote and sell worldwide. But last but not least, even though my passport is German, I feel like a global citizen. Germany, if I compare that to many other countries, is still a very attractive place for foreign direct investments, as well as quality of life. Living and working in Germany can be interesting, fun, pleasant, and very satisfying. It's a cool place. We have nice people here. They don't speak English all the time, especially the elder generation. We have a lot of them, by the way. And we are a stable democracy. As I have said, we have great football teams. You may like them or you may hate them, depending what your position is in the World Cup or in the Champions League. But it's a good institutional government. We have freedom of press. We have a stable court. The police is independent. So you are pretty safe here. You have rule of law, you can defend your case, whether you are black or white or small or big, stupid or intelligent, so Germany is not so bad after all. And it's a nice place to live and work. We have mountains and we have forests and parks, as well as a little bit of seaside, even though it's only really warm there for 2 or 3 months during summer, but still. So, and last but not least, our highways are still there, our cars, even though a lot of work needs to be done on infrastructure improvements, reducing traffic jams. But that's on a side note. So welcome to Germany, and we are pleased to have you here. My name is Friedrich. I'm the founder and managing partner of a management consulting company called GBP International. We are in the business for more than 20 years. We are working with international clients, setting up business manufacturing facilities in Asia Pacific. We are doing interim management and have the classical portfolio of consulting services, from setting up a company to market research to procurement services and so on. I'm spending half of my time here in Germany, the other 50% I'm traveling in Asia Pacific, and I'm a frequent speaker, business coach and entrepreneur investor. As well as an assistant professor, I'm teaching MBA students about international business ethics, and I love to do sailing, and I'm a fan of disruptive technologies. So stay in touch. I will be happy to receive your comments, and thank you very much for your attention.